Your life is not valued. That's the NAACP's message to people of color about Florida. The organization is issuing a travel advisory for the state, which they argue is, quote, openly hostile toward African Americans, people of color, and LGBTQ plus individuals, and devalues and marginalizes the contributions of and the challenges faced by African Americans and other communities of color. This warning comes as Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is likely preparing to enter the 2024 presidential race, building a campaign on the conservative agenda he has long stoked in his state. This year alone, DeSantis and his administration have blocked a high school AP course on African American studies, expanded his Don't Say Gay bill to ban classroom instruction on sexual orientation to all grades, signed another bill that would place children whose parents provide them with gender-affirming care into the custody of the state, and bars the use of public funds to cover gender-affirming care for all. And the NAACP is not alone. The LGBTQIA advocacy group Equality Florida has issued their own advisory, and so has the League of United Latin American Citizens after DeSantis signed a new law requiring employers to check the immigration status of employees through a federal database. To discuss all this, I'm joined by the president and CEO of that organization, Domingo Garcia, and by Michael Curry, chair of the National NAACP Advocacy and Policy Committee. Welcome to both of you. Michael, I want to start with you. Tell me what the inspiration was for this advisory warning.
Yeah, well, one, we know that Governor DeSantis has been attacking many of the constituents we care about, right? We're talking about access to DEI and Massachusetts diversity, equity, inclusion programs, initiatives. We're talking about education and allowing kids to learn the history of this country and some of the circumstances that deal with racism. We're talking about the attacks on the LGBTQIA community and other communities. Quite frankly, we're talking about the attack on Disney and businesses to do the right thing. And Florida, they've been focusing on this issue for a long time. The state conference president of Florida is a good friend of mine. I serve on the board with her, Ms. Adora Nwize. They've been focused on it, and they really came to the national NAACP and said, we need this to be a national advisory, not a ban, but an advisory, and brought a resolution to the committee that I chair, which is Advocacy and Policy. I had a chance to present this resolution over the weekend at our board meeting in San Francisco, and it was passed unanimously, really cautioning people, if you're going to travel to Florida, let's let you know how Florida treats people of color, LGBTQIA brothers and sisters, as well as the many others that are discriminated against when they enter Florida.
Domingo, what's your reaction been to some of these moves, especially the move by the DeSantis folks to check immigration status? Has this put up a red flag for you in traveling to Florida? And is that why your organization has sort of joined in on this caution?
Yeah, well, we put out our travel advisory last week when we saw the immigration bill that was being put forward, that basically if I take my grandma, who may be undocumented, along with my wife, who's a U.S. citizen, and maybe some children that are permanent residents, we get stopped by law enforcement in Florida, I can get charged with a felony for taking grandma to Disney World or on a vacation. Show me your papers by law enforcement. Sounds like something out of 1940 Germany, not 2023 in the United States and Florida. So we wanted to make sure that people knew the consequences of this, as well as the verification of your immigration status to get emergency care at a hospital. Last week, we had a woman who had a birth of a baby outside. The baby died, and she was afraid to go to the hospital because she was afraid she'd be turned over to ICE. This is un-Christian, un-American, and really unparalleled in the history of the United States.
Michael, has the NAACP ever issued a warning like this before? I mean, the world is a dangerous place for all of the groups that you have mentioned. Certainly, the history of African Americans being able to travel safely within a state, obviously with sundown laws and all sorts of challenges. But has the NAACP ever done this before?
Yeah, the NAACP has had many circumstances over its over a 100-year history where we've had to provide warnings for our members, for the folks that we represent, cautionary notes about violence against African Americans and other concerns. This is an evolution of that. This is an advisory, again, and not a ban. I said recently, and I think I said this weekend when we were voting on this, that only in America, in the perverse politics we have right now, when being woke can be a bad thing, right? You don't want to be sleep. You actually want to be woke, and you want to know history, and you want to know how folks who are immigrants to this country are being treated and marginalized. As I would say, we often drive people in the shadows, and COVID-19 taught us that. Driving into the shadows does not do anything for our society. It actually hurts public health. It's not good for society, and as was said, is un-American.
Domingo, this obviously is a political issue. We're talking about a governor, a Republican governor, who's most likely going to run for president, and initiating and implementing a strategy of what his idea of what he wants America to look like. But at the same time, of all the groups that we're talking about who are worried about going to Florida, there's a lot of Republicans in that mix. Are you hearing from any members of your organization or your friends or family who might be on the conservative side who are just wondering what the heck is happening in Florida?
We have a lot of, LULAC is nonpartisan, and we've only issued one prior advisory. That was in Arizona back in 2010. And Republicans and moderates, a lot of the Hispanics happen to be Republicans in Florida, Cuban Americans and, Venezolanos and Nicaraguans who are fleeing socialist countries are saying, what is Governor DeSantis doing? Why is he using human beings as political piñatas, bashing them with the scapegoating, the fear-mongering, the politics of division and hate, kind of turning to the right of his compadre, former President Trump. And that politics backfired on them in Arizona, where after LULAC did our advisory, now Arizona went from being red to blue. Same thing happened in the 80s and 90s in California under Governor Wilson. California went from a Ronald Reagan red state to a blue state. And I think Florida is going to change with this type of politics of division and hate.
Michael, I've talking about politics and talking about real people, right? I think all three of us, I'm meeting you for the first time, Domingo, but I imagine we talk about politics a lot and pay attention to the things that are happening in the world. But I have a number of friends who are just living their lives, trying to go to Disney, trying to decide what they're going to do. I have a friend who has a trans child who is afraid to go to Florida in case something happens and they have to go to the hospital. I have a young adult friend who was worried that she might, be pregnant and didn't want to go to Florida in case she had a miscarriage. This is an advisory and a warning, as you're saying, not a ban, because there are people who work in Florida, and I'm certain we all want people to continue to have their jobs. Are we at a tipping point, do you think, with this issue where people are seeing that this politics, which they see about in the news, these political ideas and ideologies are now impacting their everyday lives, from their health to travel to go to a vacation spot they might have been going to for years?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think, one thing jumps in my mind when I think about your question. I think about, of course, Dr. King's quote, a threat to justice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So even if it's your neighbor, you should care. Because ultimately, those kind of injustices, you will experience them as well, because it's giving people unbridled access to trample on the rights of fellow citizens. But I think, to your point, now we're starting to see it directly. So if you have folks who are LGBTQIA, and they're now having to fear sort of the rhetoric as well as the policy that's now coming out in Florida. If you are an immigrant, as was said, and you're now seeing this heightened scrutiny around whether you have citizenship or not, and the implications for the broader family. If you're a person of color, and for the NAACP, and you're traveling to Florida, you need to know that they are not teaching real history, American history in Florida, that they are now acting legislatively to restrict the teaching of inclusive history and marginalizing of people. So I think for all of us, whether it's direct and it's you, a neighbor, or whether you experience it directly, we have to act. And this advisory is prompting us to do so.
Domingo, as you mentioned, there are a whole number of elected lawmakers and elected officials in Florida who are Hispanic, Latino, Latina, and there's a large number of folks who live there who represent within your community. What are you hearing back from the people in Florida, both the lawmakers and the citizens, about what's happening there and a response to these cautions?
I've heard that it's like an American Taliban has taken over the Florida state government. When you see some of these things that they're doing, that are engaging in culture wars against the gay community, against the African American community, against Latinos and immigrants. Like, where did this come from? And I'm afraid that when you take that genie out of that bottle, that genie of kind of hate and what we've seen traditionally over America in the past, that it's real difficult to put it in. We're getting hate mail. We're getting death threats. And people in Florida are saying they're afraid. I mean, go picking oranges can become a crime in Florida if you're undocumented or you know somebody that's undocumented that you gave a right to work that day. And that is creating a lot of fear and a lot of distrust. And that's why it has to be challenged. It has to be fought.
Michael, I'm struggling to find a way to defend DeSantis in Florida on this. I want to try and offer.
It's indefensible.
I'm trying to offer a fair counterbalance here, but I also am struggling to try and find what the political, what's the strategy here? Even if we say it's immoral or amoral, and I'm doing this because I want to get elected. I'm seeing a whole bunch of people who have been kind of in their silos, communities over the past 10 years, suddenly getting back together again and putting aside some differences that they may have had around some things and recognizing this as a threat. So I'm asking you to put your political hat on. How does this benefit Florida, Ron DeSantis as governor or as a candidate for president?
Well, one is I know it doesn't, and we should know it doesn't benefit Florida. It benefits the candidate. It benefits the candidate for president, Ron DeSantis. This is a culture war. And quite frankly, all of the constituencies we've been talking about are casualties of that war. This is performative. He knows that it's red meat to the base. And if you go after people and you use logical fallacies, you appeal to people's sense of security, if you make them think that someone's going to take their job or their religion or their guns, that motivates people to show up and vote. And DeSantis is trafficking in that now, like the former president did. And he realized that there was a winning campaign in doing that. I don't think Americans have shifted since Donald Trump's election a few years ago. And I'm hopeful that Ron DeSantis is going to have a rude awakening if and when, most likely when, he decides to run for president, that America will no longer tolerate that kind of hate.
Domingo, I know you're not necessarily a political organization, but what would your message be to folks about how to counter what's happening in Florida?
Don't get mad, get organized. Go and if you're a permanent resident, get your citizenship, register to vote, get the vote out, support candidates that support us. Those candidates that engage in the politics of us versus them, vote them out of office. And make sure that we have people that are there to serve and stand for the best of America. That when we say we're liberty and justice for all, we mean all. That when we look at that Statue of Liberty that's there in New York Harbor, that we're a country of immigrants, we stand up for those values and those rights, and we stand up against those who would put that down, who would spit in the face of the Statue of Liberty and our values.
Michael, as we're gearing up for the 2024 presidential election, candidates already, June is coming, and by that point, usually most folks will be in that are getting in. Trump, obviously, in. DeSantis may be, as we've said, announcing this week. Are you gearing up for the rhetoric that's going to be coming? I mean, I'm still reeling from Trump's inauguration speech when he talked about American carnage and how I didn't know that was a vision that was part of his platform. How are you preparing? How's the NAACP preparing for the discussion that may be swirling around these debates and these town halls?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, we know, again, using that analogy of a war, it's a war for the truth. And ultimately, we and other sister civil rights organizations really have to have that war in social media to deliver the truth, to counter these false narratives about people, about populations. The NAACP and our sister civil rights organizations are really in that work of making sure, whether it's television, radio, social media, we're active and engaged, and we're meeting people where they are, and we're pointing out the lies. We do know lies have been marked by this past several years, and we do know Ron DeSantis and other candidates will traffic in lies, and we have to point that out everywhere and anywhere we can. One, James Baldwin, novelist, essayist, civil rights activist, paraphrasing, nothing can be solved that can't be faced. And we have to face this, and we have to show up and meet it head on.
Domingo, I know that certainly the issue of migration and immigration, and especially over the southern border, is not one that's new, and it's one that for decades both parties, the Republicans and the Democrats, have not paid enough attention to. Obviously, concerns about the reversal of the asylum issues and how folks seek asylum that the Biden administration has put in place, getting a lot of criticism, the ACLU, among others, suing the Biden administration for that change. But at the same time, I think it's clear to most Americans that we need folks to work in this country, both through migration and immigration. What do you think is going to happen in Florida with this migration demand, this papers demand that's been put in place?
You know, they say immigration is the third rail of politics. And the fact of the matter is, we've seen this politics before. You know, the Irish are coming. They're going to destroy America as we know it. They're all drunks. They eat potatoes. The Italians are coming in. America's going to be destroyed by this pizza and these guys. And then now it's the brown people are coming, and they're going to destroy America as we know it because too many margaritas and tacos are going to be here. I mean, it's all a lie. It's all false. But it can affect the economy and the lives of people day to day in Florida. And Florida, by the way, stands for Land of Flowers. It's Spanish. We were here first. So the fact that people are coming and working, the fact of the matter is, who's going to pick those oranges in 100-degree temperatures in the Florida sun? Who's going to pick those strawberries? Who's going to be working on those roofs and on those construction sites? I mean, the fact of the matter is we need immigrant labor. We need to open up legal immigration, yes, worker programs to allow these people to come in legally, do their work, and maybe return to their country of origin or become citizens and give them the American dream. But we have a broken system, and it's going to take politicians from both parties to fix it. But if one party is just using them as political piñatas and just beating up on them, we're not going to solve anything, and it doesn't solve the problem of immigration.
Domingo Garcia and Michael Curry, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.